What today's video is about, it's about mastering yourself, mastering your emotions. It doesn't matter what your situation is, you're going to be labeling your experiences. So you're labeling everything, every day. So I want to think about, let's have a little win today for you. Let's give you a little win that allows you to move forward. A little win that might change how you feel about things. Little bit of a thought experiment to help you to move forward. So I'm going to bring forward the theory of scope and category, which is used in Steve Andreas's The Self-Concept model. Now, I love this model. It's helped me a lot personally. It's helped my clients. It's helped people I've helped even on the street when I've just been talking to them in passing. And so that is really going to help you to move forward. So think about a bad experience. Don't think about the worst thing over a YouTube video. Think of something that's kind of middle of the road. Maybe someone's annoyed you at work, or maybe someone's annoyed you on the road, or maybe your kids have got you angry, or maybe your spouse has, whatever it is, right? Think about that. And so as you bring up that memory, think about that experience and how you feel about it. Now tell me what the label is. What label did you give that experience? It was a negative experience. It was an experience you didn't like. I was angry at my kids, I was angry at my wife, I was my husband, or I was angry at. And then think about that label, angry. Okay, what's the label beneath the label? Little coaching session here. What is the label beneath the label? It's a good question. Because you might be angry, but the reality is you are angry about losing something. What's the thing you've lost? And think about that thing as the deeper label you've given it. Because there's something else. If you're angry about something, it's because you've lost something, because something's been taken away. All right, so you got the emotion. Think about that for a moment. What is the deeper meaning behind it? And you've got a label. You got your anger and not being listened to. Let's say that's the thing. So you're angry, you're not being listened to. Okay, so there's your label. Now here's the trick with a simple relabeling technique. It's not even a technique. How could you label this experience differently? Is there a lesson that needs to be learned? Is there a lesson that will help you? So what is a label that you can give it that's different? Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Well, that's a slightly different label than someone who's deeply disrespecting you, or someone who's deliberately not listening. Or maybe the person was distracted who you were dealing with. Or maybe it wasn't about the emotional thing. And so if you're in a situation where you're angry at someone, and we get back to our example that you're looking at, what's the story? What's the scenario? What was the label you gave it? What was the label? And then what was the label underneath? I hope that gives you some context. So now go back to your example now, thinking about how narrow your scope of experience is, widen it out and see the bigger picture. If somebody was distant and you wanted more out of them, were they distant because they didn't have the capacity, because they were under pressure, because they were overwhelmed, because there was a lot going on for them, or maybe they've got their own childhood trauma that's triggering them, where they have to shut down to survive. So it's about understanding yourself and understanding other people who've got stuff going on inside of them. I really love this conversation because now I want you to relabel your experience. Now that you've got a bit of an insight that we delete, we distort, and we generalize, relabel your experience. And I want you to now reflect on that. Give it another label right now. Give it a go. Now, my relabeling took another experience to widen my scope. Maybe you need to have another experience. Ask some questions. Ask the person how they're doing or what's going on for them. And because that will change how you see it when you realize they've got the sack from work, or there might be something going on. So think about that for yourself. Where are your values not being met? This is why I love doing values work in coaching, because you learn what's important to a person and all of a sudden you can relabel things very quickly. So I hope that helps you today. That's a little bit of a scope and category lesson on the basics. Like, you increase your scope, you change your category. You increase your scope, you can change your category. Equally, you can narrow the scope and change the category as well. So think about that for yourself. Scope and category, I use it for myself all the time when my brain wants to take me on a negative adventure, and I can bring it back to what I want instead. And I can look at, all right, I might not have all the information, I can pause at the very least. It's a way of responding versus being reactive and triggered. We see it on the internet everywhere, everyone's reacted, everyone's triggered, but you can be the master of your own emotions. My name's Tait. This is Fork in the Road YouTube channel, your channel for transformation. As always, if you really like this video, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video from another place, wherever I end up with different things like the Yarra River behind me.